The bacon compendium of Martin. Yes, let's do it.
The bacon ecosystem.
Thank you for joining us for our 28th episode of We Burn, We Rise. Today I'm joined by Hyperion and Fluffy and Robin. We're happy to have you with us today for updates from all across the Phoenix Initiative. Before we open up the chat to Q&A, keep in mind that the Q&A will be recorded, so we appreciate the community's adherence to keeping the discussion profanity-free. I'd like to start out the meeting by handing the baton over to Hyperion to provide updates in regards to the Dev Bounty.
Hi, everybody. I'm actually in a hospital right now. In the good news, though, I had my second just came Saturday, so I'm going to be on here for just a short amount of time. I did want to say hello. We have upgraded the bounty up to 3,500 for first place, and we are planning on going even higher after that. So 3,500 for now, and then we'll see what happens with second and third place as well. So yeah, we have our bounty increased, and we're looking for those great projects. Again, CFG Ninja was amazing last time. So was RYI. I would love to see something. We've already have confirmation from a couple partners that are working on NFT marketplaces. The deadline is December 16th, so if they don't make it, they don't qualify. Other partners are talking about launching tokens, full communities on our chain. So we'll see how that ends up developing. And maybe we'll get a bridge out of this. Maybe not. We'll see what happens. People are out there. We're talking to a lot of different people. We're talking about different exchanges. We're excited. So like I said, 3,500 right now for first place, but that could go up. That could definitely go up to, I'm hoping, higher numbers. So look out for that. More items will come out after the Dev Bounty. We'll probably do another contest of some sort, but right now, it's looking good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I know I've talked to a couple devs that were interested in the bounty, and someone's building a DEX, and then another guy's also building a token scanner bot, buy bot, and a couple other similar utilities. I think one of the guys I spoke with, he's also going to be building a token locker as well, so there will be another source to lock tokens. So I think there's probably 6 people that I've talked to that are working on stuff right now, so it's going to be interesting to see what they end up coming out with. So I'm excited to see what the next couple of weeks look like. I'm going to reach out to those guys, see what their progress looks like, and maybe if they want to share with the community. Who knows? So, yeah, I've been pushing that contest wherever I can, because it'll be good for all of us long term.
Definitely. I wanted to have Elnan on today. He was not able to make it, but he's working on some things as well. Potential NFT marketplace, maybe a launch pad. He's doing a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, he's a small team, and he's much like us, are doing lots of stuff at once. So it might be a while, but he's somebody we're going to be hearing more from in the future.
Yeah, I'm very hopeful that some people will actually follow through with building that DEX, because that would take a lot of work off of me. So, yeah. On my end, things are still progressing. Rob and I are supposed to have a dev session this week at some point. Not sure when, but I know he's working through a lot of organizational stuff, both for the Phoenix HQ office, but also Phoenix as a whole, stuff that'll allow us to push for listings a little bit easier. So we're making good progress. I mean, I don't want to say it's slow progress, but we're knocking out the things that take the most time while we've got this excess of time because of the bear market. So just those slow, steady pushes to get the boring stuff out of the way so we can actually start churning the fun stuff out again.
Well, according, if you ask the Twitter people and Doge people, it's not a slow market anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some market, like overall, the market's starting to pick up in a lot of places, but I still think we have a little bit lower to go. In all honesty, like I'm not convinced that we're back in a bull market until like depending on if we keep trending up for another couple of weeks or a month, then I could be convinced. But right now, I think Doge on its own just only pumped because of Twitter. Like that's really all it is. But I think that's not gonna last, in my opinion. I could be wrong. I could be very wrong, but
yeah, we'll see. I mean, Daddy Musk works in mysterious ways.
The Doge father.
God,
I can honestly see it. And I know there's a lot of people saying, "Oh, it's going to rebound. We're going to the moon," and some people are saying like it's going to keep lower and lower. I can honestly see it just ping ponging between like Bitcoin 18 and 22K, just ping ponging for like a year. And like Martin said, there's so much uncertainty right now. People are even don't even want to invest in like the boring stuff, like the savings bonds and stuff like that. It's like, so once the war resolves, once supply chain gets better, if we can have a summer where there's not crazy droughts and stuff, I think we're gonna see an ease back into normalcy. And then people get bored of the stable assets, then they go for the riskier stocks. They get bored of the stocks, then they go into your mommy, Doge, Floki, Inu, whatever.
Yeah, or Doge on Mars.
but Doge on Mars. But yeah, then people will once. But it's those sort of, it's that mentality that helps the new blockchains. I remember I think it was in early 2020 where Polygon went from like 10 million market cap into like the billions. Because it's like people they're getting hyped for crypto, but there's okay. Well, I mean, what could Bitcoin do? Bitcoin could it could 5x. It's like, well, and maybe they don't have that crazy gambler spirit where they're like, I want to get like a moon or dust degen stuff. Where it's like, what about some smaller cap ecosystem stuff like that? And that's where we're gonna knock it out of the park.
Yep. Spaz, do you want to talk about the lounge that you had? Your Moulin, what is it?
Oh, Moulin Rouge.
Moulin?
Yeah.
Moulin Rouge. So, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, sure, I'll have it go. So Moulin Rouge is a part of the Tyara hub, sort of. It's the same people are in both. And I was asked to go in there just for some moderation. It's all sorts of projects, so our blockchain gets mentioned, large ecosystem tokens get mentioned, NFT stuff, all the way down to like even your stupid little holiday tokens. The only thing though is that everything in there is at least safe. If it's locked, it's locked. There's no honeypots. So it at least pulls out that bottom like 80% of the crap. So it's like even if it's not gonna win, it's something that could win. That's So you
guys are like researched bets is what your lounge kind of works on.
Yeah, even the most degen stuff, it has been researched and like we know who the dev is at least loosely. Like we have not had they make a call or two every day, and there's not been any like rugs or anything wacky like that. I think Jacques is in there with me. There's a few people in here, and again. I asked them not to call us yet formally because I want to make sure that our websites and everything line up so people can actually figure out how to get to where they need to go. But the Moulin Rouge is gonna be huge for both us and for Tyara, so it's gonna be a good one. I've met a lot of cool people in there.
Yeah, I mean, I've been hanging out in that lounge a decent bit, and it's a good spot. Like, in all honesty, like just being purely objective, it's not a bad spot to be at all. I'm excited to see some like Phoenix degens pop up in there. That's what I'm excited for.
Yeah. and
the one token we have, what is it called? It's like Christian something.
There's so many now. Like, I don't know if you've looked at the token list. There's a lot.
Yeah, there's a couple funny ones out there. You can look on that if you're interested. PhoenixExplorer.com/tokens. Yeah, it's pretty.
I thought-
There's almost 200.
Yeah, something in that range. Yeah, I saw one the other day when I was looking. It was Lincoln Emancipation Proclamation. I was like, that's a name? Okay, fine.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because much like there was already before Ethereum really took off, before a lot of these blockchains really took off, there was a few projects on them that did stand the test of time. So I'm excited to see which of these guys is able to pull something like that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see the Lincoln Emancipation Proclamation, LEP. Surfboard, SFP.
Yeah, there's some names on there. That's for sure.
Bitcoin Phoenix.
Oh, Moulin Rouge also has. It's been slow because Tyra's going to be launching soon, so they've been trying to ease off. But they've of all the podcasts between Tyara and Moulin Rouge, I think they've had me on like maybe 10, 12, and I've met a lot of cool people in there that are. So Moulin Rouge is cool. Again, it's a private room, so if anyone wants to DM me, I can send you a link and we'll get you in there.
Oh yeah, yeah, because you vet the people, right?
Yeah. Well, we at least make sure they're not a bot. And now, typically, if somebody shills something, there is like a shill format where it's like 10 lines or 5 lines, so it's not just walls of text. And if people violate it over and over, they get booted. But typically, people have been like, it might be a new person, and then it gets deleted, and they say, okay, no, use the format. So, but everyone's been pretty cool.
For me, I don't have a whole bunch to talk about this week.
Yeah, it is Halloween. If you want to make it a short one, I can bring us home and we can call it a day.
Yeah,
Fluffy just jumped on.
Oh, now we definitely got to close it out.
No, it's the other way. He now has to tell us in the next 30 minutes of what he'd like to talk about.
No, I think. Oh, your mic's off, but did your other lights come in, Fluffy?
They arrived today, and I just picked up a bunch of cases for them yesterday. So
I'm excited to see.
I'll rent them out and then probably pour all of the profits that I make from those lights back into doing a buy-up for Phoenix to fill my wallet even more.
NFA.
You're falling quite far from number one.
Hey, I'm going to be stopping by with the plastic bucket. I'm going to trick or treat, and I expect every one of you to put some Phoenix in my bucket.
That should have been a bucket bot.
Hey, all right. Rocksman, I have more than one wallet, right?
Yeah, I know. It was just the one, for the longest time, you were like, I just want to be the number one wallet, and then you finally got there, and then somebody came and was like, yeah, no, about that, you're not anymore.
Yeah, I'm still a little sore about that. So now I'm absorbing a bunch of wallets full of Phoenix, and then eventually I'm just going to shove it all into one just to take my number one spot back.
Yeah, that's...
That looks great on the Explorer. Good job.
Who's this guy at number one? Why does he have so much? We don't talk about that guy.
I have nowhere near as much as a lot of y'all here, but I keep it in like 6 different wallets because I'm nervous that I'm gonna lose something or get hacked or something. So I have it like in like tiny amounts, just everywhere.
Yeah.
And if anyone, I was just gonna say, if anyone is wondering, yes, we do buy our own coin because we did not pre-mine. Yes, we do believe in the project and we continue to buy into it. So just so you're wondering, not financial advice, so obviously.
Yeah, well, and I mean, objectively, like, everyone has the same level of power we do within the chain itself. Like, and this is purely hypothetical, just as a, kind of to explain, like, the playing field. Like, if all of us on the team were to suddenly just disappear, anyone that's currently in any chat or knows anything about Phoenix and has even some development experience would literally be able to pick up where we left off if something absolutely catastrophic happened to all of us at the same time, because we're not able to mine or mint more tokens than really anyone else. I mean, we didn't pre-mint any, which is good for us because I've seen a handful of like these meme coin chains that are popping up, and I look at like Block Zero and they're pre-mining a metric ton to like 30 different wallets, so friends and family and all this. And that just looks objectively bad if you're trying to build a chain, because you've got people that are going to set up nodes to get the reward, and it's like, oh, they're getting 1 per hour or 2 per hour, but this one wallet has 30 million out of the gates. Like, it's the thing about all of this is we've set the playing field even for all sides, where even though we're putting in all the work to make this happen, we're still reaping the same amount of rewards in the same methods that everyone else has access to, whether it's a node or whether it's through buying. Like, we're not getting anything special out of this. So it's in our interest to see this project succeed, because obviously we're putting a lot of time and money into everything, both chart-wise, but instead, I just forgot the word I was going for, but both chart and the actual ecosystem. Like, we're putting our own time and money into it so that we hopefully see a return on it. I don't think any of us are very profit focused. I mean, obviously with anyone, you do want to make some profit off of an investment because it's an investment, whether it's time or money. But at the end of the day, we just want to build something that is going to last and make it more friendly for people to actually experiment with crypto or get involved with a project for their first time, because there's so many ecosystems right now that aren't bad, aren't great, but they don't prove to be very friendly for a beginner, somebody that's never had a hand in a large-scale ecosystem before. I mean, I remember when I got into Binance last year around this time, like BNB, I didn't even know what BNB was until one of my buddies was like, hey, you should get this coin. I'm like, I don't even know how to get BNB. I don't know what wallet to use, this. And I had to do a lot of reading to actually get to the point where I was able to have BNB in my wallet to trade with. So I think if we're able to make general onboarding easier and let people get their feet wet, then we're doing the right thing. We make money, we make money. If we don't, it's an oof, but we still press on regardless.
Speaking of, that was a mistake I made with Binance. I had that, I had it at like, I think like $5 or something. I was like, this is going to go nowhere. Sell it off.
So this will be an oof for everyone. I had like 500 BNB or more when it was less than $1. Back when Binance had just started up and had just launched BNB before the chain even existed. I did the same thing with Gate.io too. Like, I had a lot of Gate currency, same with KuCoin. Like, if I see an exchange, I buy the exchange token, because if the exchange takes off and is successful, the exchange token is going to pump like hell. I got KuCoin's token at, I think, 30 cents and sold at like $1. It's currently at $10. I got Gate.io at, I think, like 3 cents and sold at probably 10 cents, which, I mean, that's a healthy profit regardless. Gate.io's token is now at like $6 or $7. BNB is at 300, and yeah, I've learned my mistakes a couple times, that and then selling all my Doge back when it was starting to pump and wasn't even the tip of the iceberg, and Ethereum at $300.
There's going to be a lot of people that had Phoenix that are going to be singing that same too.
Oh, Callie is asking, where is a good person to send it? Where should we send a dev that wants to create a token?
So actually, a couple of people have asked about that, and so you guys are aware, we are an EVM compatible blockchain. So anything on Ethereum except for our RPC and our specific information, everything else will flow the same way. So, and if something doesn't work out, obviously reach out to one of us. RX loves to be bothered. I'm kidding. Please don't bother me.
All right, guys, I'm going to go jump off my roof real quick, break my legs, call it a good day.
But yes, there are guides.
Yeah, there are guides, and one of the things I'm going to be working on is upgrading the FireSwap Gitbook to have more data to it, because I think in there right now it just has like the basic contracts that you would need to feed into another contract that has like a token tax on there, so your router and your factory. But realistically, like anything that you would do on Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain should convert relatively easily over. There will still be some things to change throughout it because we're not Binance and we're not Ethereum. So there's slight changes, but none of them code-wise would change anything. So it's not like what you're used to coding in Solidity is still valid here. There's just some things that would change because you have different RPCs, factory, router, all of that stuff. And then as some people start building some more, my hope is that FireSwap will not be the main DEX for everyone, because even though it is there and it's functional and everything, I do want to see other people launch their own DEXs, and hopefully they're more successful than FireSwap. Because when we first started, I was like, I want FireSwap to be the most successful DEX on chain. And while I still kind of want that, I'd rather see someone else build something absolutely phenomenal that just blows FireSwap out of the water. Like, that's what I want to see as a developer, someone one-up me, because then I can reposition what time I'm using to other things that objectively would be better for long-term growth. I mean, like Uniswap is an example. They built a DEX, and that is all they do is they work on that DEX and the utilities within it. I'm one person who doesn't have a ton of time to begin with, so if there's a team that launches a DEX and they're putting their whole weight behind it, that makes me feel good. And that's what I'm pushing for with a couple of people are like, hey, launch your stuff on here. Like, you've got a good project on this chain. Phoenix is compatible with what you've got there. You just have to set up a couple more things to connect to it, and you're good to go.
We actually had also separately, we actually had someone come on recently, and they talked about thirdweb.com. We might be integrated there. We're still working potentially on being integrated, but they do have tutorials about Ethereum and how to deploy contract on Ethereum, or how to deploy an NFT project on thirdweb.com. So there's a lot of documentation and things that you can utilize if you're still kind of working on all that and trying to figure it out. You just have to, again, use our RPC, and you can find that information on our main website. Or you can do /help, and then the airdrop bot actually has everything you need right there too. So there's a chain ID and everything there. So just thirdweb.com, a lot of tutorials if you wanted more information. Otherwise, YouTube has a great resource for deploying contracts.
Yeah, I'm just reached out to somebody to see if we can get an update on ThirdWeb. Let's see.
That would be excellent, because yes, they have other chains already there, and if Phoenix was a native chain that they supported as well, it'd be great.
Yeah, well, I mean, their SDK, like I've played with their SDK a decent bit the past week or two, and it's geared towards beginners for sure, both contract and DApp side, where a lot of the stuff you would end up doing with like the DApp as an example is going to be mostly visual and theming. So, I mean, overall, like they've got a great SDK. I really want to see Phoenix on there, because stuff that we have spent like, let's say, a month or two developing, or like the staking platform as an example. If we were integrated with ThirdWeb, it's something that would probably pop up a lot faster, because they've got a lot of support for a lot of those things that were already done. So, no, I like their stuff a lot. And
when Hyperion dev? No.
Soon, please.
Third web dev soon.
Nah, I'm just joking. Callie asked what security protocols are in place to prevent any hacks or attacks. So regarding the chain itself, the way we've set up the proof of work system reduces a lot of the vulnerability. Now, if there is the potential for an individual server to be compromised, but if one server gets compromised, it's really not the end of the world, because taking one node down doesn't harm anything at all. But as far as like stuff for individual dApps and whatnot go, that entirely relies on, one, the contract, and two, the dApp developer. So for a lot of my dApps that I put out, they are very basic on the back end because the basicness of them leaves not a whole lot that could be exploited in any capacity. I mean, anything's vulnerable, regardless of how hardened you create something, how secure it is. There's still going to be security holes, regardless of how secure you intend to make it. So, I mean, really, it comes down to whoever's building the dApp or contract, the security falls down to them. Contract security would be the most important thing, because if your contract has vulnerabilities to it, then that's where you could see the exploits we've seen, like with some of the bridges on Binance Smart Chain, Ethereum, stuff like that. All of that falls directly to the contract itself and not the dApp. So, like with bridge contracts, the reasons we're not rushing as fast anymore to get a bridge up is because we want it secure. Like, we don't want to build our own bridge, put money into it to be able to have people bridge back and forth just for it to get exploited and completely drained, and then everyone on both sides is SOL. We'd rather leave that platform up to a team that's what they do daily. They build bridges and they maintain the contracts and the actual code for their ecosystem of bridges. So leave it to the experts on stuff like that rather than somebody that is just building it to get it done. That being said, the bridge we have up right now, I'm the only one that is able to execute transactions on there, and it's created with a private key that has only been used for that bridge specifically. So there's not really a way for that to get exploited necessarily. So I hope that answers the majority of questions.
I'd like to also say that with the nodes, the fact that everything is in separate data centers, it makes it a little bit harder to pinpoint and exploit, in my opinion, because then they would have to go to those separate data centers individually and track down which ones are nodes, etc. So
yeah,
we have, we have node holders in France, Poland, New York, other countries.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got that, and on the other hand, we've also got our main node, like the one that handles our main RPC. That one can only be accessed from a specific IP or set of IPs. So if you are not on the allow list for that server, you can't even see that it's online necessarily. Or at least in the sense of being able to get access to it, you wouldn't even be allowed to even try to enter a password. So anything that holds important stuff, we harden very, very heavily just to make sure that nothing happens, and we don't have a server exploit that could halt some things. Like, let's say somebody was able to get into our main server and they shut down the RPC. Chain would keep running, but you would see data on the Explorer stop flowing because that RPC is down. That's pretty much the worst case scenario that we would look at with something like that, because the chain would keep running. It's just, the Explorer itself would just not be pulling data from where it thinks it's supposed to. And then as far as bridge goes, I mean, we technically have one up right now. It's more that we don't have a user-friendly one up, and we are working to find partners to build a stable and reliable bridge rather than something that I have to manually intervene with, something that anyone can interact with and they'll be able to bridge their assets from whatever chain to the other chain. It's something that I would like to be a priority, but in reality, like, we can set up a bridge, no problem. The issue becomes liquidity at that point, because if somebody wants to bridge $500 worth of Phoenix from Phoenix to, let's say, Ethereum in this case, they want to bridge $500 worth over of USDC. If the pool for that bridge only has $500, now nobody will be able to go back and forth until somebody else adds USDC onto both sides of the bridge. So it's kind of a catch-22 where we can get it up, but we can't guarantee that it will be stable, both as far as asset prices go and just access, because if there's no funds in the bridge, there's nothing that you can bridge.
Windbridge.
So I noticed that the last We Cook, We Burn did a lot better than all the other ones. So I started looking at the meta tags and trying to figure out what did I do to get so many hits, but then it boiled down to it had bacon in it. Bacon.
Bacon recipes, nice.
So if you're launching a token, name it Bacon.
The Bacon Compendium of Martin. Yes, let's do it.
The bacon ecosystem.
Just add bacon. It's success. I know people are asking about Zegex NFT marketplace. We're not actually sure, so that's you'd have to ask from the main chat. Carl, you'd have to ask him in the exchange chat to see if he has any updates. I know that has a preview out for his exchange and NFTs, but that's as far as we know. We don't have any insider info if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, I know he's working on a lot of stuff right now. I think he's working on revamping their API, which that's an undertaking on its own, coming from somebody that works with APIs. Like, yeah, I would give him a little bit of time with that, because if he can get a lot of stuff that will make Zegex more appealing to the masses, like, that'll be better for when the NFT marketplace comes out. Because if he has mass appeal for that and then releases the marketplace, I mean, that's going to be a very good impression for us, because that'll be a much wider user base that'll see, oh, this is the Phoenix NFT marketplace that Zegex has. So I know we want it as soon as possible, but I'd rather see Zegex succeed long term.
As soon as the website is updated and everything, you guys should see. Hopefully, we're going to finish Bololex by then. That'll be another exchange. Has some games and stuff on there, but I can't really say for sure until we are done with the other items, because I don't want more things to be leading the wrong way. Even though we'll probably have people going to cryptophoenix.org, bounce to phoenixblockchain.org or .com, whichever one it ends up being. But I'd rather have that stuff lined up before.
Yeah, I think Rob's going to be working on that this week. He's getting back into the swing of things. He said he did a lot of personal administration this morning, and then he's working on company ones the rest of the day, and that was at, I think, like 2 p.m., 1 p.m. his time. So getting a lot of things in place for the next big move.
Yay, righto.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, it was a good time.
So I think that kind of covers everything for today.
Yep, as always, thank you. Please like and subscribe this video. Follow our channel. Check out the We Cook, We Burn show by Martin and company. But mostly Martin.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will see you all again next week for episode 29 of our weekly broadcast. Wishing every member of the family a fantastic week, and we will see you in chat.
See you guys.